Flosstube. I'm back. Causing problems already.
I'm Brenda. I never know. I don't have an intro. How many videos have I made? And I don't know
like
whether
50.
to say. I'm Brenda at Handwork Maniac, because that sounds kind of weird. At Handwork Maniac. Yeah. Or I'm Brenda and this is Handwork Maniac.
You know what we're going to say this time? Hey, all you cool cats and kittens out there. Because I can't help myself, you guys. I can't. She's not allowed to watch it because it will just make her really sad. But I watched all of it, so you can at me about that later. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Something I don't watch, apparently. And I shouldn't watch.
Never mind. Okay.
And this is...
I'm Catherine. I'm boss daughter. I'm the oldest, so I'm the boss.
I get questions about that all the time. Why? Could you explain why you have boss daughter and bossy daughter? So I'm good. I'm glad you explained that.
Yep.
She's the oldest.
I'm the boss. I'm the one who tells everybody what to do. And I have, since I've had a kid, my mom voice has gotten even bigger. So, you know, whatever that means. So yeah, I'm the boss. What are we doing first?
Well, and since you haven't been here for a while,
yeah,
I thought she should show you some of her old finishes.
Yes.
Because we haven't seen enough finishes.
Because when I went to Stitch West and brought finishes, and then they found out that I had finishes that I didn't.
That you've never showed us?
It was, yeah, it was a riot. So, what should I start with? Oh, P.S. My hair grew back in. Yay. It's almost been, 2 years now? Let's see, I cut it at Halloween, so... No, it's only been a year and a half. It's been a year and a half. And I cut it again. It's actually it's supposed to be, like, right below my ears and be up, but I haven't cut it since quarantine, so... I got it cut right before everything shut down.
Oh, good.
And now it's growing out
so it's
again,
not driving
so
you
it's
crazy?
like, it's getting heavy again, but... Getting there. It's not quite there yet, but let's see.
You should just start at the... Oh, do you have...
Oh, I know to start with.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, listen. I know that I get some flack sometimes about how nice my stitching is. I just want you to see the very first one I ever did. It's like, it's filthy. I think, what was I, 8 years old when I did this one?
Show the back.
The back.
That's even better.
Looks like this, you guys.
And what is this right here? You have like a tail that's never been...
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh my gosh, it's literally just hanging out. I have no idea. It probably was under something at some point. I should fix it. It was probably underneath these like haphazard stitches once upon a time, but it's not anymore. So, you know, there I am, 8 years old.
We should frame that and put it right next to your Heaven and Earth designs on the wall. You should have them like right next to each other.
Oh yeah, actually. Well, and I picked this one because when I was 8 years old, I wanted a cat more than I wanted to live. So, you know, I had to have a cat on it. I'm like all the way sunflowers now, but at this age, it was cats.
It's cats. Yep.
Cats.
I can
Yeah, you can confirm. And then this was one I did kind of in the same time period with the little cat face. And this one cracks me up too because I traveled in between the cat's eyes. Like, I should have just ended the thread and gone to the... But no, I was probably 9 years old. And so, yeah, you can see all the traveling across the back.
We'll just have to back it with...
Well, it's Ada, so it's not going to be that visible, but...
If you back it, if you put a piece of mat board behind that's the same color as the traveling threads, they disappear.
That would make sense.
I did that on a piece. On the Counselor, Mighty God, the Everlasting Father.
Yeah.
I did that. I backed it with dark green, and then the dark green traveling threads, you can't see them anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. We don't need to do this one. Let's see.
Yeah, that one's probably next.
Yeah. This one I did my senior year in high school. I did others in between, but the timing is all hazy. This was like 2006. Yep, my senior year. This was my senior project, actually. I just copied a whole bunch of motifs from a whole bunch of different projects, and put them on here. And if you'll notice, this is the same tree that was on your sampler.
My house and garden sampler.
Yes, it's the same tree in the middle.
The one that has all my favorite houses on it.
Yes.
Which I told her that's the definition of a sampler. You pull motifs from other patterns that you like.
Yeah.
And you stick them on there wherever you want to put them.
I don't even remember what they all mean. They all meant something at one point, like sunflowers, obviously. And I know I have a few. Why do I have this flag on here? Yeah, I have veterans in here, but
I want to say it had something to do with your senior project or your senior class.
My senior project was about family history, so maybe that's what it is. Was there a story about poinsettias in the family or something?
No.
Or somebody...
There's a gray shawl.
Never mind. Oh, that's right. I forgot about the gray shawl. But yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff on here. I think I just picked a bunch of things that I liked.
Grandpa Beverly is a World War II veteran.
Oh, okay. All right. But I don't, like... I know there's some symbolism with the gold star. Like, please correct me. But... we didn't have anybody die in combat, did we?
I know. The stars... I believe the stars are one color if
they're like
you're just in the service, and not home. You're away from home in the service, and then I want to say they're gold stars if they passed away.
Yeah. So I don't know what I was doing.
I know all of you out there are trying to tell us the correct answer, and I feel really bad that we don't know the correct answer.
Yeah, especially since we're right off of Memorial Day weekend. Like, please inform us.
We have a great respect for veterans.
Absolutely. Let's see. How do I show this one without? I almost need like a... Oh,
do you want this piece of paper?
Sure.
Just hold it over this
That'll
part.
work. Yeah. This is a sampler I did for my son that apparently has mystical powers if you live in Russia. I love this piece. I put all of his name and all of his birth information up in the sky, so I really like it. I hate that I did it on the fabric that it came with in the kit. I would have picked different fabric just because it's so stiff.
Oh, just you hated working on it.
I hated working on it. Like, it looks nice.
These kits are almost always full coverage, so you never see the fabric anyway. But yeah,
it's
it bugged
true.
you while you were working on it.
The only problem was that there was so many half stitches that I did in this house that it was really hard to punch through the Ada. Like, I wish I'd done it on Even Weave or something like that, because it's gorgeous and I love it and I need to frame it for my son, who's now almost 7. So, but it was done. I'll have you know. Like, within the first few months that he was born. It's just never been framed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never got one done that fast.
In fact, there is remember that time-lapse video?
Yes. Do you want me to link it again?
Yes.
I linked it last time you showed that.
My ex did a time-lapse video while I was working on it.
She had a GoPro hooked to her frame every time she stitched.
It was so heavy, but it was a really cool video because there's this whole section of sky that it has that like does the whole time lapse thing, and Merrick makes an appearance like he's a little baby. Like,
if you watch closely, you see the teeny little baby
and all my weird t-shirts that I wore at the time. And let's see, moving right along. I had a really devoted fairy phase when I was in college. So like this was I think this was a kit. It was a nice kit. It's very pretty, and it's all the browns and blues and greens that I love so much. So that one was really
I could totally see why you picked that one.
Right?
Even at the time. I thought, yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I can't remember if it's dimensions. I know the lighthouse is dimensions.
I love the flowers in her hair.
Right, and it has all this gold thread in it. Like, I think this was the first time I did anything with the gold thread and realized how much it's terrible to work with. But it was nice, and it came out in a really nice effect.
Must have been blending filament.
Yeah. And at that during that same time period, I did this one. This is the Night Fairy, and I can't remember what company put this one out either. It was back like early 2000s. The Night Fairy and the Day Fairy. They both came in the same book, and they're both kind of the same size. And I really should like frame them. My original plan was to frame them and hang them together, but they're just nice. Just a nice chapter of my life. This one I did in college also. I took a religion class, and we had to do a project that was going to be like in our family or something like that. So I found this really nice Christ pattern that I could do, and then it would cover as many hours as I needed for the class, and I could work on it in class. So the whole class knew about it. Yeah, it worked out really, really well. Oops. Okay, let's see, what else have I got in here? Oh, here we go. And then later, remember what order they go in. It doesn't really matter. This is ink circles. I love this one. It looks like gold leaf pressed into the black. And it was difficult to work on the black. What is this? Ada? I want to say it's 18 count instead of 14 count, but it turned out
and it
so
was
nice.
Just the variegated brown DMC.
Yes, there was
DMC.
only,
I don't know what number it was, but it's just the variegated brown.
For some reason, I want to say it was like 666 or something like that. But yeah, it's only one color of variegated floss that I just did all the way around, and I just love the effect still. I need to hang it up. Mm-hmm. And then came the Mirabilia phase. So I've got.
I'm still in the Mirabilia phase.
Yeah, it's a good one. This one has, I don't know if you can tell, but it has like just a crazy amount of beads on it. Like,
so pretty.
It's
And I love this color.
Right.
It was perfect.
I remember picking out this
Looks
fabric,
like
and it's lovely. Yeah, it was a really good one. And she has brown hair
and bigger beads.
Yes.
Like a variety of like little beads and big beads.
Yes. Yes.
Lots of texture.
And then I want to say these two were the only ones in Mirabilia that have like brown hair, or maybe they're not the only ones with brown hair, but they're one that like there's not
Sleeping
very
Princess
many of
has brown hair.
Oh, good. Okay. So yeah, this is Stargazer, and you can't really tell in this lighting, but there's a whole bunch of beads up here at the top for the stars. But I just love her dress so much, and like it's all lined in beads too. There's tons of beads in it. Not as much as Angel of Love, because that one is like straight beads. She did that one. I didn't do that one, but
did you work on that one at all?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. And I forgot, I got it out. The Angel of the Sea, I want to say that it's called, is actually one that I have framed. And it's not hanging up in my house, but I pulled it out and apparently I forgot to pick it back up again before her hair was blonde and I changed it to brown because she's holding this little baby, and so I changed the baby's hair to brown because I had an ectopic pregnancy back in fall of 2014. That's what it says on there. So I did that one for that, so I could like have a thing for it.
I'm glad you got that one
right
on the wall.
Me too. It's framed really, really nicely too. I think we did that one
at the craft center.
At the craft center, yeah. And then this is the only other one I brought. It's I know I've showed this one before when you finished yours. And remind me what it's like.
Because we put them next to each other.
Shores of Hawker
so you
and
could
Hollow.
see the difference.
Yeah. Because yours is on like a green
fabric. It's a light greenish gray fabric.
And mine's on like
and
this
yours is the
sandstone, what it calls
it's
for.
It's the called for fabric. Yeah.
Yeah, in the pattern. So this
which is so
really nice
perfect because all the whites and the light blues show up so well on this fabric. Yes. And then on yours, like totally. Oh, it was the reds on yours. That the reds show up on mine, and I had to backstitch the sails because they didn't show up very well on my fabric.
I remember. Yeah.
That was so fun to see them on two totally different colors.
Right.
Of fabric.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That might be everybody except for
the one.
The one. My child.
I told her we have to show every time she's on the show. We have to show
to bring this again. Yeah. My 11-year-old baby. It's actually 12 now.
Oh, I forgot about that one. We might have to back up for that.
I know. It's enormous. Oh, it fits. Hooray! So there you go. James C. Christensen, Fairy Tales. It's filthy.
Heaven and Earth Designs.
Heaven and Earth Designs. And still kind of smells weird, but that's okay. I don't know. What do you think? Does it smell?
No, it just smells like fabric.
Okay. Maybe it's finally aired out.
How long did it take again for you to stitch the whole thing?
Almost 11 years.
And we should do a close-up.
Oh, yeah.
11, you said? 11 years?
Because I think I started it... I know I started it the first time in like... Because I remember the apartment that I was in, and it was 2008. So it was either right at the end of 2007 or the beginning of 2008. And that was when it was 2 threads, and I decided it was too tightly packed. And then I cannot for the life of me remember when I restarted it, if it was before I got married or if it was after I got married. So it's somewhere in that, like, February, March-ish. Could have been even as early as January, I don't know. Because I got married in April. So it was somewhere in that spring, possibly even that summer, that I restarted it. But I cannot remember at all. There was a lot going on at the time. So I restarted it somewhere in there. So I know it was kind of the beginning of 2008, and I finished it at the beginning of 2019, right? It was January of 2019. So I'm pretty sure it's just under 11 years old.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's a thing. I definitely need to get this one framed too. This one's like an emotional burden to get framed because I have to make so many choices about it that I'm just like putting it off. So it's fine.
Show them the back.
Oh yes, the back. You can see the column lines really clearly on the back, but you can't really see them on the front unless you're looking. Maybe it's because I've had it when it's in a plastic bag and it's enclosed and it starts to smell weird. But when it's just been sitting in a drawer that's not airtight and it's fine now, so it just smells like fabric now. So maybe it just needed to air. It's fine.
Well, and on the last video, because I was talking about full coverage pieces on the last video, and I said, "Boss daughter, please comment and tell us who that stitcher was that does the diagonal parking lot method."
Still can't find you. I cannot remember.
Well, Patty commented and said that Needlebugg, Carryover WIP of Needlebugg, and as soon as I read that, I thought, I think that's the one.
I think that's it. Yeah, because she had a beautiful diagonal method, and I was like, I would totally do that.
And she has a video just on how she parks.
Yes,
so Needlebugg with 2 G's.
Yeah,
Needlebugg.
I would do her method next time.
And then Teresa commented and said that Jessie Marie has a diagonal parking method. I don't know if she has a whole video on it, but that's how she does her full coverage.
Okay.
And then Janny commented and said that Teresa Little Stitcher, and she's one I watch. She's in Great Britain. Oh. She just recently did a video explaining her parking method. I'm not sure if she does it diagonally or not, but she has a good video on her parking method.
Okay.
So I was glad that someone commented.
Yes.
As soon as I saw Needlebugg, I thought, I think that's ringing a bell.
Yes. Yeah.
And if anyone else, I don't know why I didn't say this in the last video. If any of you know of great videos that have a great parking method for Heaven and Earth Designs, for the parking method, please comment below.
Yes.
I don't know. We have all these people out here that know all the information, and I didn't even ask them.
Yeah, but I'm glad we found it. Yeah, because I was racking my brain trying to remember, and I looked back through like the comments because I thought it was something that I found, and I must have just searched it. I don't know.
Probably just a search.
Yeah,
that
was the one.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I'm like 95-6% sure that that's it.
And the disorganized stitcher commented and reminded me. I think in my video I said that Heaven and Earth Designs were one of the first companies that became popular. Oh. I mean, obviously they're popular because people actually call them a HAID.
Yes.
Even when they're not a HAID. Like it's like synonymous with full coverage. Yeah, like Kleenex.
Or Tupperware.
But she was reminding me that they were not one of the first. There were several other companies early on that did those full coverage pieces converted from a piece of artwork.
I didn't know that.
So there's lots. Heaven and Earth Design is just one that came later that became very popular. But there are a lot of them out there with beautiful, beautiful pieces.
Awesome. All right.
Oh, and while we're doing housekeeping,
might as well go down the rest of the notes.
Terry commented and said, be careful with the disappearing markers. She's heard some quilters say that they can discolor the fabric. Like there's color that comes back later that was disappeared that then came back. And that she actually heard people say that sometimes it shreds the fabric later. The chemicals in the marker actually make the fabric shred. But just something to be aware of. Yeah. I don't know if that's just certain brands or I don't know. And then we wanted to give a shout out to Sharon V, who's a new grandma. Congratulations.
Yay.
And then Sharon W that sat next to you at Stitch West.
Yes.
Okay, she made a comment that will make more sense in a minute. So I won't tell you that one yet. But that's my only other housekeeping.
Okay.
So now you should explain one of the reasons why you're here today. Not just because she loves me and I said, Catherine, we would like you to be on the video.
That's true too. So every year, when did we even start this?
I don't know.
It was like 10 years ago at least.
You were married, right?
I was married. I think it was when I lived here. Was it when? No, because I think it started before that. I might be able to go back and see which one you very first worked on. Yeah. Yeah, because you probably wrote it down in your
probably did.
Forensic notebook or
yes.
whatever.
Yes.
No, it was probably way back in like 2009. Because 2008 I was getting married and everything was chaos. But 2009 probably is when I started it because we just didn't have any money and Mom's birthday is right at the end of April and Mother's Day is always in May. So I'm like, what am I going to do for both of these things? So I was like,
because I mean, and I require gifts. Like, you have to give me a gift.
Literally, I could give this woman nothing for the rest of our lives, and she would still be like exactly the same.
Your birth was gifted.
Oh my gosh! You're gonna start pulling that. I just want happy children from my birthday. Oh gosh, no, I had this brilliant idea. I was like, we're both stitchers, and it was back at a time where we saw each other. I mean, we see each other pretty much regularly all the time anyways, and so probably it stemmed from you were saying, oh, I just hate this part. I love this whole project except for this part. And I'm just like, oh, well, and my brain working the way that it does, I'm like, I could do that for you for your birthday. And that would be, and it was like this really easy, just like I didn't have to spend any money, and it was something that she actually needed. And it was just like, it all came together in my mind as like this perfect solution to birthday and Mother's Day. It was just like, this would be great.
It was perfect.
And I could do this every year, and it can just be, and now it's become this 10-year tradition.
And now she has to do it for the rest of her life.
Yeah, now I have to do it forever.
You're stuck.
Yeah, unless you ever stop stitching. I don't know why you would do that, but but it was funny because this year we got all the way. Usually I start asking in
like March. Yeah,
we start talking about it, and it's
and she hadn't said anything, and so I kept thinking, she doesn't need to keep doing that. We don't want to make this a rule that she has. She's busy. I'm just not going to bring it up. It's fine. It's fine.
So we got all the way into May, and for some reason I stopped watching your videos. I don't know why. YouTube just
life happened.
They changed the policy at work, because I used to watch all of the videos at work, because they're like fairly long, and so they changed the policy to where we couldn't watch YouTube at work anymore. So I stopped.
Did you just say my videos were fairly long?
I mean, compared to like every other video on YouTube that's like 10 minutes.
Yes, because when I first started making videos, my kids told me, now Mom, for YouTube, you really need to keep it under 15 minutes. Because viewers will not
is
keep
totally
watching
different, though.
If it's longer than 15 minutes.
The gold standard of YouTube right now is like 10 to 15 minutes. So
Flosstube is like an hour.
It's okay, harder.
Sorry, I just had to tease you. Keep going.
They were just really easy to watch at work because I could work on these spreadsheets for hours, and like an hour of watching your video on the side ground, was like so easy. And so when work changed the policy to where we couldn't watch YouTube at work anymore, then it's like I kind of just stopped watching YouTube altogether. Like there was all these channels that I just didn't watch anymore, and I was watching all these documentaries, and so it all went away. And then I completely spaced it for a few months, and then I can't remember. We had a conversation or something. And it dawned on me, I was like, I haven't watched the videos in like 4 months. I need to get on that. So then...
That's also something I require. All of my children must watch all of the videos.
I was just feeling really bad. I was like, this is my mother's YouTube channel, and I watch my best friend's YouTube channel too, and I watch my brother's YouTube channel, so I was like, I need to like get caught up on this. And I'm working from home now, so I can do that. I can do that.
You can set your own rules.
Exactly. So I started catching up on it, and you talk about projects a lot that I've worked on before, because now that it's been 10 years, there's quite a few projects that I've touched at this point. And it dawns on me that we're 2 weeks into May, and I haven't even asked. Like, her birthday and Mother's Day have completely passed. And I was just like, I didn't even ask. Like, we didn't even... So I texted her frantically, and I was like, I just remembered what month it is. Let's talk about your stitching. And she was like, oh, it's okay. Like, I figured you just didn't want to do it.
You're busy.
I'm like, no, I just literally, like, I don't know what month it is. I don't know who I am because of all of this disease stuff. Like, I'm just not at your house to smell the lilacs and remember who I am or what month it is. So it's like, let's get on that, like, right now.
It's Blur's Day. It's just Blur's Day.
Yeah. What did you text me? Or like, it's the Blur's Day of May.
It's a Blur's Day of Maytember.
Yes. Yeah. So I rectified that very quickly. So I came over and I was like, okay. So I texted her. I was like, okay, start thinking about it.
Was it a week ago? Has it even been 2 weeks?
No, it's been longer than that.
It was since the last video.
Yes. And that was May 8th. Maybe I really did just kick this out really fast.
It was very
fast. And it's because I for the last couple of years, I've gone to this writers conference called Storymakers that they do out here that's wonderful, because my new baby is my book, right? And so this year they did it all online. So they made, we watched all the classes like the days that it was going, but then they made all the classes available online for like the rest of the month. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch all these videos. And then I was getting bored just like sitting there watching the videos because I'm a stitcher. I'm not a stitcher in the last year, but I'm like... It's just in my soul now. Like I was just sitting there. I was like listening to the videos. Like, I should be stitching. And so then it's like this brilliant idea again, right? Like, I'm gonna go pick up these projects from my mother, and I'm gonna work on those while I'm watching. So it came together perfectly. So So I got lots of stitching time in on that. So this year, and I haven't even showed these to her, you guys, yet.
Nope,
so.
I haven't seen them. She just came today.
This is fun. So let's show this one first. Let's see. You talked about this one before, right?
Yes.
Why don't you show
in my plans
the
that I wanted to do the Stitching Book Club.
Yes.
By
It's
Sapphire
such a cute idea.
And she has this cute little pattern just for their logo. So you could put it on a book bag or something. And I told Catherine, it's really cute and I want it on the book bag, but I just don't have time to stitch it. I don't need another new start this month. I don't.
Yeah. And it's so little, I was like, oh, I can do that. I can totally just do that. Just whip that out. So, da-da-da-da, it's done.
Yay!
Just really quick.
Look how cute.
Yeah.
I love the colors.
Really cute. Yeah, you picked different colors for it, right?
I think
I didn't even look.
the green was not a green, so I made it into a green. But I think the rest is
accurate.
And it seems like there was one color that it's just DMC. I didn't have that color, so I picked an overdyed that was close to that color that I thought would look good.
No, okay.
I want to say it was the red, but I can't remember. Is the red?
Yes.
Yeah, because the red's variegated.
Yep.
Yep.
So there it is.
It's so
Stitching
cute.
Book Club. It's so fun.
Okay, now I need to sew it to the front of a bag. Either I can't decide whether to put it on a book bag or a project bag. Could totally work on either one.
There you go.
Because the Stitching Book Club is going to do several more books. I don't know how long they're going to go. Years? I don't know. But they have plans through the rest of this year.
Yeah. But now it's done. You can put it in a bag.
Thank you.
It was really easy. This was the non-committal, like, probably only took a few hours one. This other one, on the other hand, was a little bit more than I anticipated. So you told them what was wrong with this one, right?
Yes. In the last video, I said that I had just been telling myself all this time, it's okay. It's okay. It'll just keep going. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And then in the last video, I said, it was not okay.
Okay.
I went to put it away after Maynia and just went, it's not okay. I hate this.
So that was the other one. She texted me several possibilities, but this was one of the
Yes,
ones.
I usually let her choose between. She usually says, Mom, which ones are you just really hating right now?
Yes.
So I give her all of the ones that I hate, and she chooses which one she wants to do.
Hit the pain points right on the pressure
Which,
points.
because you've been doing it for several years now, all of the real problem pieces are gone. Like, we finished them. They're done.
Yeah.
Because she'd work on it and get a little more motivation, and then I'd say, well, you've just got to get this done. Mm-hmm. But now, all of the ones I have, I love. So I don't have bunches of them that just need to be done.
I can already see this other one coming, though. This one you started on your birthday with the complicated border you've been putting off for years. I was like, I was watching the video and I was like, oh no, this is going to be my life in another year. Like, this is going to be, I'm going to be doing that border. Like, I'm just dying.
You're saying that next year, when I say, no, I love all of them, there's nothing for you to do. You're saying that's not going to happen?
I mean, it's possible, but it's not plausible.
Oh, all right. Tell them about this one.
Okay, so this one you just did in one thread. You just had like this little section done.
It's 36 count linen.
Linen. And so I kept trying to figure out a way we could do like a before and after picture of this one because it's the same, but you're just going to have to go back to the other video and look at it.
Yes, I showed it to you close up and showed you that it was one strand and it was just... Which looks good on some projects, but on this one, it's so
much better with
I just love the model photo. That's so saturated.
Vibrant.
Just, vibrant bits of color. I loved that. And that's every time I think it was fine, and then I'd look at this photo again and just go, it's not fine.
It's not. It's really not. So here's what it looks like with 2 threads.
Wow! Did you pull out the back stitching, or did you just work around it? Sure
didn't. Just worked around it.
Why does that not surprise you?
So there you go. Now it has 2 threads in it, and it looks so like much better.
100% better.
Yeah, like it was crazy. I should have taken some pictures of it. Like,
so did you agree that the one strand was just?
Yeah, the one strand is not enough. 2 strands is way better, and it doesn't
much more.
Yeah, it's saturated.
And I didn't have to do it.
Yeah,
I kept thinking it just needs one more strand. What if we just did one more strand over the top, which I told you in the last video. Yeah. And then I thought, but look how long it took me to stitch this much. It's going to take me that long to put one more strand on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was a really fun one to send home with her and go, fix this. Would you just fix this?
Yeah.
And look, she did. She just
literally put another thread on top of the threads that were already there. Was it really a week?
Well, a week and a half. I don't think it's been 2 weeks.
Well, yeah,
it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Right?
Because it was sometime after it was after Mother's Day.
Okay, wait.
We should go back in our text history.
Right?
It doesn't matter. Anyway, look at what she did in just like 2 or maybe
really
3 weeks, whatever, how long it's been. I asked her if it was like stitching on pre-stamped pattern because it was already on there. She was just putting another strand over
filling
the top.
it in again. Yeah, and it kind of was because it's all already there. You can see exactly how much is, because when it's just white, like you can see it on the pattern, but it just doesn't. You can't see it until it's
Were the colors close enough sometimes that you'd have to look at the pattern to see?
Oh no, I made a mistake a few times of like on this yellow, this thing, the color. This color was close enough to this color that I came over and I went all up into here for a second, and then I was like, oh, that is a completely different color. Like, I was like, backed up.
So the gold of the doors,
yeah,
she thought was the lighter gold was the
couple
same clear up into here, but
yes.
these are all yellows and oranges, and these are golds.
Or definitely
Which
browns.
I was really surprised at how bright this orange color is.
Right, I was too. It's like store-bought macaroni and cheese.
Well, that's what it calls for. And
it's like
when you pull it out,
orange.
it looks fine. But when you're stitching it, you just keep thinking.
It seems like
it's
going to be out of place, but it's not. It's the craziest thing.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It's so much better.
And now from now on, I can just keep stitching with 2 strands, and it will be fine.
And go on, just stress-free. That's my job.
Stress-free.
To make it stress-free.
Stress-free stitching.
We always joke that it goes on vacation to my house.
Yes.
So her stitching has just been on vacation.
It's like when you have little kids and you send them away for a week. And you feel so much better because you just got a break. But then towards the end of the week, you're thinking, are they okay? Are they feeding them all right? Is she doing that thing to put them to bed like you're supposed to do? Like you start to miss them finally, but you get that little break.
Yes. Yeah, my son's in Wyoming with bossy daughter this week, and I'm a little bit concerned. I told her it's only 3 hours away.
Not because she's not a good mom, but because sometimes it's hard to tend someone else's child for that long.
Yeah, and she's got my kid and her 2 kids, and then she's got there's another boy who's there with them. So I'm just please be good,
all
my child.
the extra blessings that will be poured out on her head.
I hope so.
For doing that.
I think it was a week and a half. I think I was here because it was after Mother's Day. I think
you had to come pick them up
on the 17th. Maybe.
Look at that. She's amazing.
Week and a half. Yep.
So she doesn't stitch at all for a year and a half. And then she just
blitz it out.
Packs it all into a week and a half.
Yeah.
And then she won't stitch again for another year and a half.
It'll be like until we go to the next con.
That will be, if we don't address that question, it's going to be all over in the comments. Are you stitching right now, Catherine? On your own stuff? No. When was the last time you actually stitched on something that didn't belong to me?
At Stitch West.
For half an hour?
No, it was like a couple of days.
Well, you were working on my stocking while you were there. You helped with
for
Hannah's
like a minute. No, I did that whole pumpkin. Remember, did
you even bring that piece?
No, I didn't.
Your whip?
No,
she actually has a whip and didn't bring it.
Because it hasn't gone anywhere since
But it's a whip.
That's true. Oh, maybe that was the last time I was on the video. Was at Stitch West?
Stitch West,
yeah.
probably.
I keep making these appearances.
Did we make a video at Stitch West?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wow.
Just like a little one, I think.
People ask occasionally. It's WIP, work in progress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We start to sound like some sketchy video with whips.
Oh, yeah, because I had to finish the pumpkin before we did the video. So it literally has not moved since then. So if you want to see my actual whip, it's back on the Stitch West video from October. I think it was October. Yep. So there you go.
It's okay. It's just not the season right now. The season will come back someday. Because you just admitted that it's still in your soul.
I did all of this. I did this entire pile of stuff for 10 years. So now I'm going to write a book and see how that goes, and maybe I'll hate it and go back to stitching. So there's certainly a lot fewer creative decisions in stitching than in writing.
I think you had some people volunteer to be your
my beta readers.
Yes. A year ago when you
I know. This book has been going on for a while. In fact, I started working on it in earnest last spring.
So maybe refresh her memory if you're still willing to be her beta reader.
Yeah, it's
she's like, no.
It's just the kind of book is a little weird. It's a sci-fi book, but it's like sci-fi for women. It's like apparently there's this whole genre called chick lit that I had no idea. So apparently, like, the more I get into the story...
Heard of that.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's funny. I mean, it doesn't have, like, a romance main plot, which I think is mostly what Chick Lit is. But it's basically sci-fi for women, because it's...
Well, relationships. Women are about the relationships, and men are all about the... In general, we obviously know there's lots of differences, but in general, women like films and books that have relationships in them, and men are more interested in the action part.
Yes, it's not a space opera. It is not. Like, there's no giant war that's like taking place in space. It's fun. It's a fun little story, but there's no space travel. They don't live on Earth. They live in a different place. There's no aliens, but it's sci-fi. But it's like women-oriented sci-fi. I don't know. If that sounds like it's up your alley, let me know, and I'm gonna try really hard to get the first draft done this year. But I just went to Storymakers, so it's like I hate Storymakers because every time I go, I feel like I want to just chuck the whole plot out the window and just start over,
rewrite
because
everything.
I've figured out all the things I did wrong. So now I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with this dumb book. So but on my goal spreadsheet for the year is to finish the first draft at least by the end of this year. Hopefully by the end of the summer. That would be ideal, but we'll see. So if that's something that sounds like it's up your alley, hit me up. We'll see how it goes. Might have a beta copy for you to read.
So Sharon W.
Oh, yeah.
Commented on the last video where I was complaining about that piece and said, maybe Boss Daughter would take that one on for Mama.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what
I read her comment and thought, that was exactly what was in my head too. I've been putting that on the list.
Yeah. Maybe
of course, at the time you hadn't said anything, so I thought, well, I don't know if she's going to work on one this year.
Maybe that's what prompted it. Maybe I was like,
I should be helping with that. All right.
So really, I just need to keep watching your videos and just take notes and just be like, oh, there's a good candidate, there's a good candidate. And I already know this border is going to be a good candidate already, so.
Here's the rest of Maynia, the pieces that I picked on which days.
So cute.
So I did finish Maynia. I did get Clear to Here on the 20th. Then after that, because there wasn't a set plan, it was just I was supposed to work on everything one more day, and we had 10 more days in May, and it fell apart.
I mean, it still is May, but it fell apart in, let's see.
Because then I thought, you know what, I have 10 whips. I had 10 new starts and 10 whips. Mm-hmm. So for the last 10 days in May, I should just work on the whips each one day, because the whips are what need to get done.
I mean, they're all whips at this point.
And that was my plan, and then I had to work all last week because we were returning textbooks and Chromebooks, and I forgot how exhausting that is to be at work all day long. Working from home was a lot easier. And then my mother-in-law passed away last Wednesday, and her funeral was Saturday, and the burial was yesterday, which she was 89 and in a on hospice. She had some serious heart issues, so it was a good thing.
Yes, she lived a very long life.
It's still a lot of emotional events that you have to help with, and they're exhausting.
And it affects a lot of other people too. So like you just have to, for people like us who manage everyone's emotions in the room, it's a lot.
We can't have any emotions.
We can. We just have emotions later.
Yeah. So things kind of fell apart after Maynia. I haven't done as much stitching as I usually do. But let's quickly, because we're already at 38 minutes.
Oh dear.
Hopefully I have enough room left on my memory on my phone to make an hour-long video.
That'd be bad.
But we'll go quickly.
Yeah.
In case you're worried, we'll go quickly. This is a WIP, Praiseworthy Stitches, Churchyard Christmas. I started it last year, right after Stitch West, because I saw Rika King's, and it was so cute. See, she's yawning again.
Oh, man. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I was telling someone that having a co-host is awkward sometimes because they start yawning, and then you're like, I must be really boring right now.
I stayed up till 2 a.m. finishing Sky Blue Street is what happened. I was stitching and watching TV, and so,
So I finished the horses. Somebody said, I think they're reindeer. They could be reindeer. I don't know. A commenter. And then someone was teasing me about my, the carriage has no wheels. But it's because it's a sled. and they're backstitched. So I have to fill in all the snow and then before I can put the runners on. So that's why they have no wheels, the wheelless carriage. But I worked on all this stuff down here.
Nice.
But I still love that one.
Yeah.
Still.
That's so cute.
It's kind of fun right now because all of my whips are fun. Like, I would love to work on any one of them. There's none of them that I'm just like, oh, and I hate this one, but I just need to get it done.
Yeah, we talked about that. We solved all those problems.
Yes. We did.
Next year, you have a whole year to dig yourself into a rut again.
She has...
Oh, she does. It's kind of a lighter
brown.
brown hair. Yeah.
This is
not as dark as mine.
Sleeping Princess by Mirabilia, which was a carryover whip from last Maynia.
Even if she didn't have brown hair, this one has so many other gorgeous colors in it that I'm going to have to work on it at some point anyways.
Put all of this back in.
Okay.
I love having a Vanna. Take care of this.
You know, right? I'm really good at that.
And this. And this. Okay. And I actually got her hair started and all of her skin done. So there's actually a body. There's actually you can actually see a person now.
Yeah.
She does it. Her pillow's not on there yet, so she's floating out in the middle of nowhere.
Just leaned up on her elbows.
But I was able to finish her. I still can't decide if this is a nightgown or a sheet wrapped around her.
I'm going to vote blanket.
You're going to vote blanket?
Yep.
Although I think it has some beads on it. Well, the sheet could have little pink flowers on it too.
Let's look at the picture.
It's up to interpretation. But that's where she is. Very excited that we're starting to see her.
Yeah, I think I still am going to vote blanket. I don't know.
Completely twisted up in the sheet.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you put that away.
Okay.
See, this will go way faster.
Yeah.
And then the next day was the Mill Hill Gingerbread house ornament.
Oh, yeah.
That will look like this. It's the first Mill Hill kit I've ever done. And which is the front, which is the back.
There you go. It's coming right along.
I had someone comment and ask, I can't remember if it was Instagram or YouTube, if this was, I think it was Lonnie, if this was all of the, if I had done all the stitching and all that was left was beads. But no, this is just the first two colors. There's a lot more stitching before we get to the beads. Almost all the colors in there have some stitching. So there's some purple stitches and some orange and some green and some yellow. But about half of it is beads, I'd have to say.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen beads
so
on
see these
canvas
little
before.
this little red gumdrop right here and right here.
Oh.
That's the red stitches, and then the rest of that will be red beads. So it's kind of like half stitching, half beads.
That'll be cute. I'm
on
curious.
Perforated paper. I love it. It was a little complicated when I first pulled the pattern out and looked at it. I was just like, whoa, don't start this when you're really tired. Because there's a lot of symbols. Because half the symbols are beads and half the symbols are floss, which are different symbols from each other. Even though this whole section is red, half of those are red beads and half of those are red floss. So at first I was just like, oh my goodness, where do you even start on this? But once I got the first color in, it was fine.
That makes sense.
So it wouldn't probably be a good thing for a beginner. This would not be a good first thing to start with.
There's a lot going on.
But if you are an intermediate stitcher, not a problem. It just takes a little bit. I put my floss on these mother of pearl floss ring organizers things. This was all the colors of floss. And then I have not started beading yet.
Yeah, I'm really curious what the beads would look like on perforated paper.
The beads came in two little packets. They separated it into two packets so that if there were any colors that were close to each other, they were in separate packets. And then the pattern has a little asterisk by the ones that are in the one packet so that you can figure out which color is which. But when I do beading, I always use a tacky bob.
They're the best.
You can purchase it on just about everybody that sells cross-stitch supplies. If they have a lot of supplies, has a tacky bob. You can get them online. You can get it at needlework stores. But it's just a little, is this a 3.5 inch you young people won't have any idea what I'm talking about, but this is a 3.5-inch disc holder is basically what this is. It's a floppy disc holder for 3.5-inch for solid discs. Not the big 5.25 really floppy ones. It was for the little 3.5 hard discs. But so it opens up just like your jewel case, like a DVD holder jewel case, only is smaller. Opens up just like that. And the inside has a sticky glue on it that is sticky on both sides. Oh, and it has lint in it. But what I do, like for this one, normally I would have little piles of the different colors of beads I'm using, like when I did on Angel of Love. But for this one, since it's 2 bags of beads and there's not a lot of them, I'll probably just have a pile from the one bag right here and a pile from the one bag over here. And then if you push it down with your fingers, even though they're in piles, so that they're all touching the sticky, just kind of squish it down a little bit. You can go like this, and the beads will not come
go anywhere.
We used to have a cat, Oreo, and it stepped on the corner once, lifted up its foot, and it was still stuck to its foot. Went like this to get it off. It finally flew off, but I just was like, oh no, there goes all the beads, and I picked it up, and I'd say 95% of the beads were still stuck to it, even after all that.
So there you go. If your kid comes in and just like, whoop, and you're good.
Yeah, it gets knocked off the table. And then when you're done stitching for the day, you just close it up.
Yep.
And put it away. And when you open it up the next day, all those beads will still be there. I love it. But not so sticky. The other thing is if your thread and your needle, your thread's only so long, and it's attached to your fabric.
So you kind of have to.
So if you have this little bead holder sitting over here on your table, you have to get the needle over to pick up the bead, which if your thread's this long, then you have to bring your project with it to go pick it up and come back. And I like, because mine's in a stand, I can let go with this hand. Pick it up, pick the bead, when your thread's getting shorter and shorter. When I'm beading, I don't get very short, because it's impossible to pick up the bead and get it in. I tend to, when it gets about this short, then I just end it and start a new thread.
Oh, funny. So what do you do?
But it's nice to pick it up close to where you're stitching. Because I can pick this up with this hand, get it over here close to my needle, pick up the bead I want, and it's not so sticky that your needle can't pick it up. And then I put it down and then I do that.
Okay.
I was going to get them out. On my next video, I'll show, I also have some little tiny square plastic boxes where the lid comes off and on with a magnet on the back. And I have like 4 or 5 of them. I tried that with Angel of Love. They actually stick on like on a needle minder, but the lid comes off and they're sticky inside. So you could have your beads like right there next to your stitching and just pick it up. But they weren't quite as sticky inside as this is, and the beads kept falling. Oh. And it was a pain to pull the lid off, get the bead, put the lid back on, because then you flip the whole thing over to end a thread on the back. So you have to make sure all the lids are on the beads. And it was just, I didn't like it as much as my tacky bob that I could just pick up, put down, pick up, put down.
That makes sense. All right.
Anyway, more than you ever wanted to know about a Mill Hill ornament kit. And then the next day was Spring by Cross-Eyed Cricket. That is not the picture. There it is. Here. Vanna, here.
Forgot what I'm doing already.
And so I'm doing it on 32 count water lily. It does call for 32 count. It calls for beach walk, I think, which I could not find. So I chose a color that I like. It's a very light ferny green color, water lily. And I have the S done. And everything around the S.
Gardener's Blend.
Oh, Gardener's Blend. It was something else that
30 count Gardener's Blend. Is on
30 count.
Yeah.
I did 32 count instead. With the called for DMC. 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. And this one, Catherine has worked on this one twice.
Horrible border. Yeah.
Mother's Day and my birthday.
Yes, because I worked on it once right after Merrick was born. I remember sitting downstairs in that room working on it for a long time, and I got it a decent way around.
Oh, and then the next time you took it,
next time I took it, I got all the way the rest of the way
except for this much, which she told me I had to do.
Yeah, I wasn't
eat my vegetables. I had to do
I wasn't gonna let her get off scot-free because she'd already done a little bit at the beginning. So I was like, I'm not gonna finish it for you. I'm just gonna get you right there,
the border,
and give myself crazy anxiety about whether or not it will match up or not. So,
which it did. I think I texted you and said the border does not meet up. And
you did, and it was awful.
Just kidding.
I lost my mind. I was like, what, really? No, it's fine.
So the border is done. We just need to fill it in now.
Yes, and that's the easy part.
Yes, and for Maynia, I did this whole house right here. I think I had the first 6 stitches in it when I started Maynia, so I finished that whole house.
Okay.
So next I'm going to come over here and do this bouquet of flowers and this bird.
There's a lot of colors in there too. It's probably the most complicated.
It's an interesting sampler because it only has...
Yeah, it's only like 10 colors less.
It's got like 3 reds, 2 greens, 3 yellows, and 2 browns, and that's all there is.
That's it.
So that, I think that was part of the reason. The border is really complicated, but it only has 4 colors in the border. So it was just repetitive. It was not very fun to stitch. So Catherine saved me on that one.
Yeah.
And I think this is this is my oldest WIP.
Oh, is it
at
really?
the moment.
Oh.
If you don't count Kirumi, which is a canvas piece.
Yeah.
So I think moving forward, I'm going to concentrate on some of the oldest WIPs. I'll still have my whole other rotation, but there will be more concentrated time on a WIP so that we can get the WIPs done. The old WIPs.
Yes. Which there aren't very many left of anymore.
No,
not
there's
like there used to be. Not like what's the one that took so long? It was like Medieval
Town Mandala.
Yes.
And Twisted Band Sampler. I just felt like that went on forever. Yeah. And the Paula Vaughn piece, that went on forever. This is May I by All Through the Night. And I'm doing it on 18 count black Ada.
That's right.
And I got this much done so far.
The colors are so pretty on there.
It calls for all overdyeds, and I pulled the ones that I had, and then I pulled the DMC equivalents of the ones I didn't have, and then I pulled just random. I just picked colors out of my stash that I thought would look good. So I maybe have half the called for colors, and the other half were just ones I picked out of my stash that were looking at the model photo. I thought were very similar because I love the model photo. And I saw it finished at Keepsakes. They have a model on the wall. It's gorgeous. Just gorgeous. 2 strands of thread, I'm pretty sure, on that 18 count black Ada. This is Bumpin' D Night Farm by Praiseworthy Stitches, Halloween piece, which I started at Stitch West last October after seeing Rika King was working on Widow B&B, I think is Black Widow's B&B.
Oh, cute.
Widow Black. It's Widow Black B&B. It's really cute. Saw hers, thought it was so gorgeous. We went shopping at the craft center that day. A carload went, and they had this one, and I thought, I need to start that. So I did. I started it at Stitch West.
Nice. That's right. I remember
on
that.
40 count Silk Weaver Creek Stone. If I fold it back, then the light doesn't show through it so bad. And this is where I am, trying to finish the barn. The house is over here somewhere. Just trying to work on the barn. That crazy green light coming out of that upper window. That's the color absinthe. And it is great. Isn't that a drink? Is that a drink?
Yeah, it's a, yeah.
And is it really that color?
Yeah, I don't know, actually, but it will mess you up. Why did you start in the barn? It's like way over there in the corner.
I started in the middle down here with these trick-or-treaters.
And you worked your way up.
And then decided what I wanted to do next, and for some reason it ended up by the barn. I don't know. The house is the most exciting thing.
Of all the words I didn't think I was going to hear you say today, it was absinthe. Yeah.
Is that how you say it? I don't even know.
Yep.
Is it an old, like, did they have that in the 20s? Because I feel like I hear it in old movies all the time.
I don't even think you can get it anymore. It will, like, cause you to hallucinate.
Because
it's like, really...
Not good for you.
Not good for you.
And apparently it's lime neon green.
Yeah.
Or maybe it makes you hallucinate lime neon green.
I think it really is green. I don't know for sure, but...
The next day was a new start, Silver Creek Samplers, taking it EC.
Oh, cute.
Which is kind of complicated to say. Cute idea.
Oh my gosh, I hate that at restaurants when they name all of their dishes something really weird and then you have to say that back to the waiter person. It's just like, I want the razzle dazzle berry whatever, not like, I'm not ordering this. I can't.
All right, and that's what I have done so far. Just that top row and a little bit of water. This needle minder I bought at a tourist shop at Bear Lake. It's a fridge magnet.
Yeah.
And this Scrabble X came from a shop. I want to say it came from Mrs. Seda Silks. I can't remember. With an order. It was very cute.
Yeah.
Same thing again. I used the overdyed cottons when I had them. If I didn't have them, I substituted what I had.
Okay.
3 more. Oh, I just keep We're almost done.
Oh, okay.
This was a carryover WIP from last year. Long Dog Samplers, Day and Night.
Oh yeah, this is the one with the houses all around the...
Around the cool border.
Super cute.
I'm not sick of it yet.
I'm so glad. Well, because it's all different. Like, there's no repetition.
It's on Picture This Plus Valor, 40 count. It's a really light.
I'm always impressed that you have these all memorized. So just because you
If
say them so often?
if I show them a lot, if I'm making a weekly video, I can remember them. If I don't make a video for a month, then I have no clue what the fabric is.
Good thing I'm here then.
I worked across the top for Maynia up there, trying to get that top border done. And I'm almost, as soon as I get over to here, I've got a page finish. That will be a page finish for this one. That's why the church ends right in the middle of some windows, because that's the bottom of the page. And it's such a pain to work across pages until you have to. So the next time I pull it out, we're going to have to be working. I'll probably make copies and tape them together, because that's just easier when the piece is this big.
Yes, that makes sense.
And it is the called for DMC, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. And then the next day was Not Forgotten Farm tomato season. We're actually going to plant tomatoes this year. Dad
Really?
says we're having a garden where he's going to get the garden put back in. Since we had added our new room onto the back of the house, it destroyed the garden plot.
Yes.
It's taken us a while to
just
get
the
it
yard
back in.
in general is just...
Well, when they dug the huge hole, they put all the dirt on the garden.
on the garden.
Which is bad, not good to plant in kind of dirt.
Yeah.
And then they finally moved it all back off again, but it's been a mess.
I'm so excited, because guess who gets to eat those tomatoes? Me!
Although it hasn't happened yet, but
No,
he keeps
I know.
saying it's going to happen.
Okay, well, I mean, maybe before June would be a good idea.
So I started over here and then started on that huge tomato. It is not the called for colors. It's the called for colors, except that the reds were all in the 920 range, and that's a very coppery, orangey copper red.
Yeah, it is.
And it didn't feel like tomato colors, the kind we grow where we live. So I changed just the reds to 817, 349, and 350. Except for that darkest red, that's the whole tomato. I changed that to Gloriana. Schoolhouse red, I believe. Which Kevin picked out.
That's right. That's right. I thought
He
I
was
heard
at
you say
Stitcher's
that.
Paradise with me, and I said, pick a color in Las Vegas. Pick a color that looks like a tomato.
Oh my gosh.
Schoolhouse red. Gloriana Schoolhouse red. So this project is another one where I've combined silks and cottons in the same project. And it is 40 count Tree of Life linens vanilla bean, which I don't think you can get. I don't think Tree of Life, I don't think Jan at Tree of Life is doing, maybe she is. Maybe she does still sell overdyed fabric.
can't get the magnets to not stick to each other.
Okay, last one was my birthday start, so it was actually the first Maynia start, and then I always work on it the last day of Maynia. It's always the last one. This is the one Catherine thinks that she might be working on in the future.
That's my prediction. We'll see. If you're watching this in the future, fast forward and see if it came true.
Long Dog Samplers, hoity-toity. And I am doing the Mrs. Seda Silks conversion. She put together a conversion, which I think she's stitching herself as well. She lives in Spain. She makes overdyed silk, and I've heard that her shop is now open again, so you can see it on Etsy. I had a card that had her name on it, and now I can't find it. Mrs. Sedas, M-I-S-S-U-S S-E-D. Yes. Oh, right here. It's on all of her thread drops. Her floss comes with thread drops when she sends it to you in the mail. S-E-D-A-S.
Oh, A-S, not E-S. Okay.
I always want to say U-S, but it's A-S. Mrs. Sedas Silks. And then there were a couple of colors in her conversion that I changed. I wanted a little bit lighter green than the one she had in there, so it would show up in the black border, inside the black border. So I changed that to a Vera Soie Alger. I can't even say that part of it. 2134.
For some reason, it reminds me of the same.
Here is my where I am so far.
The same colors as Country Captain for some reason.
Country Captain is a peppers and onions and raisins and chicken
and almonds
sauce that you eat over rice. That was one of our family's favorites, so we ate it a lot. I think it came out of Better Homes and Gardens cookbook. I'm not even sure where it originally came from.
Oh, that's funny.
This, Mrs. Sedas had this pink color for the lightest red in there, and I changed that to Gloriana Crimson. And then there were a couple of other colors that I just moved around to a different symbol because I thought they'd look better somewhere else. And there was one other one. Fawn. I'm using Gloriana Fawn instead of one of her colors, one of her gray browns. But it is all in the description box below if you're curious.
It's adorable.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's awesome.
And it's on 40 count mallow, which I'm loving that fabric.
Yeah.
And I'm using the silks, Mrs. Seda Silks conversion, except for the few I substituted one strand over 2 fabric threads.
All right.
So you're okay if you inherit that?
Now I know. Yes, now I know what I'm in for. With this border, it's a thick border, that's for sure.
Okay, that's all of the Maynia pieces, which ended on the 20th, because I just did through the 20th. But then I had a couple other...
Oh, shoot. Move the camera again.
This Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm.
That's right.
Lonnie was starting it on the 23rd, so I decided I also needed to start it on the 23rd, because I'm social follower like that. And this was the purple fabric that was just a little too dark.
Oh,
so
that's right.
I ran it through the washing machine with Clorox too, and
so
OxyClean for whites.
Your whole disclaimers
Do
over
not
that were
hold me
so
responsible if you do the same thing and it ruins the fabric.
Yeah, that you did
Made
a very
that
good
pretty
job.
clear in my
you
last
did. You
video.
made that abundantly clear.
This is my start, how much I got done on it. I am loving it so far.
It even has a bear on it.
So it's turned out really well.
Cute.
It's 40 count fabric. It's Silk Weaver. It was Silk Weaver Elegance before I washed it several times. And I'm using it calls for overdyed cottons, which I'm using if I had them, if I didn't have them. And there were a couple, the purples I wasn't happy with. I wanted more purpley purples, so I changed some of the purples.
Yeah. That's so fun. I've never
Out of stuff in my stash.
looked at this one up close.
I always think of you when I look at all of her designs.
Yeah.
She's very, I love that she has bears and
mountains and butterflies.
She's a very interesting lady in it quite
Yeah.
often. Yeah,
Huh.
I love her designs.
Yes, that's right up my alley.
But they make me think of Catherine.
Yeah.
I just kicked it again.
You did?
I did.
You're not doing so hot with this.
And then the Stitching Book Club started on the 24th, Oh, really? Sunday. Was Sunday the 24th?
Yes.
And the book they're doing right now is The Secret Garden. And this is part 1. It just has 4 parts. They come out every 2 weeks. So that's the part that just came out. I'm doing mine on 18 count Ada in, I think it's Barnwood. It's not the called for color is 14 count chocolate raspberry Ada. And she talks about in here, the colors are not going to look good unless you get it on a dark chocolatey brown color. So this was the closest I could get in the middle of quarantine, scarcity ordering. But I think it looks okay. It's a very interesting color of fabric.
Yeah.
I don't know, what would you call that? A purplish brown?
This is going to sound awful.
Mauve-y brown?
Do you remember that medicine they gave me in high school when I had that horrible cough that was like that lavender? It looks just like that.
It's the color of nasty medicine.
But hey, it made me so much better.
But it's just that it's not a lot of stitching to get done. I just worked on it for a couple hours on 2 different days, and I'm almost done with this section.
Makes me want to watch that movie again.
I pulled out, this is my childhood copy of The Secret Garden that I've had since I was a young teenager. I've always loved this book.
Good.
And the movie from the 90s.
Yes.
Is there a newer movie? Or is there one coming out, I want to say?
They'll probably remake it in the next 5 years and it will be awful.
And then I bought a more recent copy, a hardback copy that I could have forever that would hold up a little better because the pages are starting to fall out of this. This is from the Barnes & Noble version. The Barnes & Noble has a whole line of classics that they redesigned a cover for that's all pretty on the outside. It's got very, very visual on the outside.
So pretty. I think
it's from that collection.
A Roald Dahl one that's got like James and the Giant Peach. I started reading James and the Giant Peach to Merrick, and he thinks it's the saddest book ever. And I forgot that Roald Dahl like really lays it on thick in the beginning, you know, because he's got these wonderful heroes. And so we can only read it 1 chapter at a time. And you know, 1 chapter is maybe like 2 pages of this giant book. And I'm like, do you want to keep going? He's like, it's just too sad. I'm like, trust me, it gets so much better. Because I was thinking, James and the Giant Peach, a little boy goes on an adventure. Merrick will love this book. But his aunts are so mean to him in the beginning. Yes. And all these horrible things happen to him. And Merrick's like, I don't want to read this book. I'm like, just stay with me.
And that's it's the call for DMC, 2 strands of thread over the 18 count Ada. It's Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. She has an Etsy store, and that's where you sign up to do the design if you're interested in The Secret Garden. She's also doing Dracula later this year in the fall, and then she's also doing a Christmas Carol around Christmas time. Is the schedule that they have so far that we know about.
Okay.
And then she always does, you read the book, so many chapters every 2 weeks as each section comes out. And then she has certain days that you can get on if you want and participate in a digital book discussion, questions about the book. And then my sister-in-law, Walter's wife, whose name's Juliana, but his name is Walter, my brother Walter, who's your uncle Walter.
Yes.
For my birthday, they signed me up for the Positivity Rules Stitch Along by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It's Caterpillar Cross Stitch Positivity Rules. And it starts the 29th, I think. So it hasn't started yet. But I ordered 2 pieces of fabric, not sure which one. This one is, I really like pink. Yeah. It's just Zweigart Blush. I think that's the one I'm going to use, 40 count linen. But I also ordered this 18 count Ada that is cherub. A lot more modeled. It's gorgeous too. Haven't quite decided yet which one I'm going to use. But that will start later this week. These are the DMC colors. Would help with me. Pretty bright colors. It will be fun. And it looks... You can kind of see a blurred out preview of it right here, so it's a house of some kind.
Oh, cute. That's a good idea.
And I think it only has 5 sections. 1 a month, May, June, July, August, September. So it will be done in September. You will not inherit that one. It will be done by September.
Yeah.
Okay. What are we at? An hour.
Oh my gosh.
The only thing left is the haul pile, which is way more than I usually have because it was quarantine, it was my birthday, I had birthday money. I kind of had this big wish list that had been accumulating for months and months, and I kind of just bought everything on the list. I probably won't buy anything else for another 6 months. So I don't think I'm going to go through it all on this video. We'll just go through some of it.
There you go.
In sections.
Maybe we'll just go until it's 1:15.
An hour and 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, we have 5 minutes left.
Okay, all right.
Dimensions, I realized, has a website where you can order the Dimensions kits straight from them. If you search Dimensions kits, you'll find it, but it's actually simplicity.com, which makes the patterns that you buy at Joann's. So Joann's buys their kits from simplicity.com. That's where they're getting them when you can buy them in the store. But sometimes I see stuff people working on them. I'm like, I've never seen that one at my Joann's. No. That one was sell out the minute it get here. Where do you get that?
Yeah.
And I found out you buy it at simplicity.com from the manufacturer. So then they were all on there, like everything that's available right now. And there were several that I ended up buying. There's this one, Overlook Cafe. It's a smaller one. It is 5x7 when you're done stitching.
I've never seen kits this little.
There's this one that's Scenic Lighthouse. I don't know if I've ever seen these little dimensions. There's little ones at Joann's, just not the little dimensions one. Yeah, I don't know.
These are the whole kit.
Beacon at Daybreak, which looks very similar to Merrick's birth sampler.
Yes, it does. It's just like a different on it. Time. No, it's about the same time of day actually. Maybe that one's in the morning.
So those are all 5x7 version. And then these are the bigger ones. I have admired these Christmas ornaments. Christmas Village ornaments forever. They look quite complicated. I mean, they're ornaments, but that's a whole project all by itself.
Oh my gosh. Well, and then even just looking at all the colors that are included in it.
It's going to be a lot of colors, a lot of blended threads, I'm guessing, a lot of fractional stitches, but they're so... I think they would be as gorgeous as the stockings as an heirloom thing to have forever. So I'd love to make those.
That's my other prediction. You're going to give me one of those and be like, I don't want to do all of these.
I've done one ornament. I'm sick to death of them. Will you do the other 5?
Oh, 5. Okay. All right.
This one is Japanese Garden, which it's been around for a long time. I've just always thought it is so... It's the colors. It's always the colors that get me. So pretty.
I think you just like pink.
And it will be 16 by 12. Oh,
weights.
Yeah, the pinks always get me. I love pink. This one's Village Canal, which I just think is a beautiful scene. It'll be 13 by 10, so not quite as big. It's kind of the medium size for dimensions.
These all have houses on them?
Probably. Of course.
Of course.
And yes, you can do all the windows, because I don't want to do all the windows. This is Charming Waterway. And it is 16 by 11, so a big one. This one is Cafe by the Sea, which I'd love to be there right now. It'll be 8, the fabric is, it'll be 14 by 10. So medium.
Yeah.
What are we at? Keep going, 3 more minutes? 2 more?
We're good. 2,
Brian at Blitstitch was talking about doing Miss Hathaway's Garden. It's an old Marty Bell pattern from the 90s, I think, was when these were really popular. And it looked, just looking at the pattern that he showed, he still hasn't started it. He was thinking about starting it for Maynia, but he didn't. Just showing, I was just like, oh, that's gorgeous. Can I still get that? So I just got on Amazon and did a search. The publisher, Pegasus Publications, is as a store on Amazon, and these are all still available. They're still in print. Pegasus still selling all of these patterns. Oh, so Marty Bell patterns were very popular at the time from her artwork. She's an artist. So I got Miss Hathaway's Garden because that was gorgeous. And then I also got Tulip Time. And these are basically full coverage, lots of confetti stitching.
Yeah.
Not as big as the Heaven and Earth Designs, maybe. Smaller.
This house looks like it's straight out of a Ghibli movie.
I know.
Arietti could live there.
I'm thinking like, not Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, something else, I swear. Bed knobs and broomsticks.
Ah, yes.
This could be the house in bed knobs and broomsticks. There's this one called Enticing, which is a little bit smaller, not so big, kind of a strip. There's this one called the Abbey. I was stitching in the 80s and 90s. I don't know why I've never seen these. And Lovebird's Cottage.
Because back then, all you had were magazines and not...
Oh, and these weren't in the magazines?
Yeah.
They didn't sell them at... It wasn't Joann's. It would have been Roberts or Michael's back then, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Did we have a Joann's in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, how would you know? All right, we're at 1:50. Right at 1:15.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, you're going to have to wait for the rest of the haul for the next video. I think that's everything.
Yep.
I think... Oh, and I already told you about my plans. I'm going back to my normal rotation, but there will be a heavy concentration on...
Oh, on the older...
Oh, we didn't even tell them the name of that. It's Abecedare Berthet DuPont 1913, but it will be in the description box below. The one that Catherine did all the border.
Oh, right. On the notes. Look at the notes.
What notes?
There are no notes.
See these?
There's nothing.
Very sketchy notes. We did it all.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Wow.
Oh, did we get all of the comments?
That's what I was wondering.
Yes, we did.
Cool. Yay.
All right. We hope you're having a lovely day.
Mm-hmm. I'll come back sooner this time.
Really? You promise?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And Bossy Daughter, who will probably never watch this. She's too busy to watch these videos.
Right.
But we're going to try hard to get Bossy Daughter back on here too.
Yeah.
And Retlaw. We really need Retlaw and his wife to get on a video. Maybe he said they might make one at their house and then send it to me and I can just put it up on my channel.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Okay.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye.